Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're continuing with chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge. The verse we are going to recite today is number 27. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yadjuhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kanteya tatat krushva madarpanam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmanitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Once again, Hare Krishna to all of you, and thank you for joining. So today we are going to conclude the chapter number 9, the most confidential knowledge. And in these remaining verses, Krishna will give knowledge to Arjuna about how we can become free from bondage. And once we become free from bondage, then we will attain liberation. We had learned this even in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna said, Yagnarthat karmano natra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. What is it that puts us in bondage? Is to do everything for our own selves, for our own satisfaction, for our own sense gratification. But when we do work as a sacrifice for Krishna, Krishna says, Mukta Sangha Samacha, then there is liberation, then there is freedom from bondage. So in this verse that we recited, Krishna is saying, Yad Kuroshi Yadash. He's saying, whatever we do, whatever means whatever, not particular things that we do. Whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we offer, whatever we give away, which is charity, whatever austerities we perform. He's saying everything should be done as a sacrifice unto me, which means the consciousness should be that we are doing everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Everything we are doing is for Krishna. Even charity that we are giving in chapter 17, we will get more knowledge about charity, how we should give charity, to whom, when, where, all those questions are answered. Because every action has a reaction. So if we give charity to the wrong person at the wrong time, at the wrong place, then we get reaction. So here Krishna is saying, whatever you do, eating, any work, austerities, charity, whatever we give, everything should be done as an offering unto Krishna. So he's making it very, very clear. There is no doubt at all. Very clear that whatever we do is to be done for Krishna. Only then we'll become free from bondage. We are all in bondage right now. We are either bondage of, family, society, country, whatever it may be. We are also in bondage because of modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. So to break free, to get liberated, this is what we need to do. We need to follow the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, when Krishna says whatever you do, he's talking about our duties. Excuse me. Whatever duties we perform should be prescribed. We learned this chapter 3 and 5 also, Karma Yoga, where Krishna explains to do your prescribed. That's what he tells Arjuna, do your prescribed duty. Now, how do we know what is our prescribed duty? That we come to know from a spiritual master, from a teacher, from a guru. And then he teaches us how to mold our lives in such a way that we do everything for Krishna, that we do not forget Krishna at all. There's a golden rule. Excuse me, there's a golden rule. Smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavya na jatuchet. Always remember Vishnu, that's Krishna, and never forget him. That's the golden rule. So, when we are doing our work, when we are performing some activity, it's important to follow instruction of chapter 3 and 5 of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says we must do a karma. Not just karma, not weak karma, but we need to do a karma, which means we follow the directions given to us in the Bhagavad Gita, follow the scriptures, and not desire to enjoy the fruits of our activities. That is proper work. That will give us liberation, right? So when we are working without the desire to enjoy the fruits, then we become free from bondage. This is the process, right? And when Krishna says, whatever you eat, now, whatever you eat, he means do it as an offering unto me, which means that we need to offer our food to the Lord. Now, as I explained in last Sunday's class also, I also posted the prayers for offering food and, explained how we need to offer. What is the reason? The reason is that we eat sin-free food. That means there are no sins attached to that food. Even vegetables have life. So when we cook vegetarian food and when we offer it, then the sin of killing the vegetables is taken away by the Lord. Then all we get is prasadam, which is blessed food, which is sanctified food. So if we lead a sin-free life, then we will be happy. Then that is a stage of liberation. Liberation doesn't happen after death. We can be liberated even while being in this body. Now, charity. Charity has to be given in right consciousness to the right person at the right time. You see, we have to make sure that the charity that we are giving is being used properly for the Lord's service. If the funds are misused, then we get the karma for that charity. Austerity. Krishna says even the austerities that we perform should be done as an offering unto Krishna. Now, what are the austerities? First of all, the 4 regulative principles that we follow. That is an austerity because the just like this house is standing on 4 pillars, right? There are 4 pillars that are holding the whole house together. Similarly, there are 4 spiritual pillars that hold our spiritual house, our spiritual lives. And what are those 4 pillars? Mercy, honesty, cleanliness, austerity. These are the 4 spiritual pillars. And to have these strong spiritual pillars in our lives, we need to make sure we follow 4 regulative principles which are given to us in the scriptures. By whom? By Krishna himself. Now, if we want to be merciful, one pillar, spiritual pillar, which is mercy, if we want to be merciful, then we need to follow the rule which clearly states no meat eating, fish, eggs, onion, garlic. They have to be vegetarians. Now, being vegetarian, we also need to avoid eating onion and garlic. That is the spiritual pillar. So if we are eating non-vegetarian food, how can we be merciful? We cannot be. So one pillar is mercy. The other pillar is honesty. Honesty is the best policy because being dishonest is a sin, and every sinful action has a reaction, a bad reaction. So the second spiritual pillar of honesty can be strong if we follow the second regulative principle is no gambling. Because when we gamble, we become dishonest. The third pillar is cleanliness. Now that spiritual pillar of cleanliness will stay strong if we follow the third rule, the these are rules and regulations given in the scriptures. The third rule is no illicit sex. Then our pillar of cleanliness will be there. The fourth pillar is austerity. You see, austerity is required in this process of bhakti yoga. Without austerity, we cannot do anything even in this world. Now, if I want to become a great swimmer who gets into the Olympics or whatever, there is a lot of austerity involved. I have to practice for hours and hours every day, have a very, very experienced and knowledgeable teacher, etc. So austerity is needed even for spiritual life. And that pillar of austerity stays strong when we do not engage in intoxication. You see, because when a person is intoxicated, the brain stops working. It's not possible to understand spirituality. It's not possible to understand the Bhagavad Gita. It's not possible to follow the process of bhakti yoga if we are intoxicated. And intoxication not only just talks about alcohol, excuse me, not just alcohol, but also tea and coffee because it has caffeine in it. You understand? So these rules and regulations are given to us by the Lord so that we can perform this austerity and progress on the spiritual path. Now, in the very next verse, Krishna tells Arjuna that when one becomes free, excuse me, when one becomes free from bondage of both auspicious and inauspicious results. You see, that means one comes to the platform of no dualities, does not get affected by dualities. That means our mind is fixed. You see, that is a stage of liberation. And when the mind is fixed, then dualities do not affect us. Happiness, distress, heat, cold, success, failure, fame, infamy, nothing matters at all. One is equipoised. There is no change at all because the mind is fixed in service to Krishna. See? Then one becomes eligible because one has become liberated, free from bondage. Then one becomes eligible to go back to the spiritual abode. You see? We have to work. We cannot maintain our body and soul together without working. But how do we work? That is what we learned in chapter 3 and 5, that we need to give up the fruits of our activities. Then it will become a karma-free life. No more reactions. So when there are no more reactions, then there's no more coming back into this material world. No more cycle of birth and death. You see? So when we follow the guidance given to us in the Bhagavad Gita, then gradually we are able to become self-realized and then become eligible to go back to the spiritual plan. And that is perfection of life. So we heard so much about, Krishna says, do everything for me. To be able to do that, we need to fix our mind. And fixing our mind becomes possible. It's a very simple process. Fixing the mind becomes possible by mantra meditation. When we chant the holy names, when we try to remember the Lord, we try to hear the spiritual sound vibrations, that is when our mind starts to become cleansed. You see? So, to be able to do that, we need to understand what is our position. Who are we? What is our eternal service? Our eternal service is service to Krishna. How do we do that? By chanting, serving with devotion. Remember last week when we took up the topic of offering our food to the Lord, we talked about also how to offer it with love and devotion. And the best service that we can do, loving devotional service, best easiest, simplest is mantra meditation, chanting the holy names of the Lord, because those sound vibrations are so powerful that they enter our ears and go straight to the heart, and they start cleansing the heart. Now, one may say, my heart is clean. Sure, but maybe there is a little bit of lust, anger, greed, pride, envy. This maybe in a little degree it might be there. That also gets cleansed just by mantra meditation. So, best service is chanting. Now, in verse number 29, Krishna is telling Arjuna that to become free from bondage, to become liberated, one needs to envy no one, no envy at all. And one is not partial, because Krishna himself, he is not envious of anybody. He is equal to all. So when we are in that state of consciousness and we are serving the Lord, then Krishna says he is our friend. Of course, there is no discrimination, but we do those discriminations, don't we? It is natural for us. But when we become liberated, when we become self-realized, then there is no envy for anybody, there is no partiality, there is no discrimination, right? So Krishna is very pleased with that. And Krishna says, such a person is my friend. And of course, devotees are Krishna's friends, and he gives special attention to his devotees. He provides all the necessities. Of course, there is a difference between need and greed. He provides our necessities, what we need, but does not satisfy our greed, because there is no end to greed, right? So, for us, especially in this human form of life, we need to use our philosophical intelligence and try to understand what is the purpose of life. First of all, realize I am in bondage. I am stuck in this material world. I am a spiritual being. I am a spirit soul. My home is the spiritual world. What am I doing here in this material world, which is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam, which is full of misery and it is temporary. See? So, this Bhagavad Gita is teaching us how to purify our consciousness, how to realize who we really are. But then, the best part is we have a freedom of choice. No one is going to force us to do anything. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tatheva bhaja. As one surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. So he's giving us a choice whether we want to become self-realized or we want to stay in whatever situation we are right now. That choice is ours. So an intelligent person will make the right choice. And in verse number 30, Krishna tells Arjuna that even if one has done the most abominable activity, but that person is situated in Krishna consciousness, that person is performing devotional service unto Krishna, he says, I consider that person saintly. Look at his merciful, his compassion. That even if one has done the most abominable activity, he's still considered saintly because he's properly situated in devotional service. And there is determination to stay on this path of bhakti yoga. But now that doesn't give us a license to do anything that we want. You know, we say, oh, I can do this sinful activity and Krishna will still consider me saintly. No, no, no. This is unknowingly, if one is performing some sinful activity or doing some abominable activity, Krishna still considers him as saintly. So we should not use this as an excuse to perform sinful activities. If it happens by accident, then we need to rectify it, you see. And the best thing is to continue to do mantra meditation on a daily basis. You see, when we do mantra meditation, when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. When we do that, we automatically start becoming saintly. And then Krishna says, quickly, such a person will become righteous. That means they will not engage in abominable activities anymore. You see? Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that there are two kinds of people, conditional and constitutional. So nice way to describe, right? Those who are on the bodily platform, which means those who consider this body to be the self. They are not knowledgeable about the difference between body and soul. We are the spirit soul within the heart. We are not this body. This body is a covering, like I'm wearing this cloth to cover my body. So I'm not this cloth, right? Similarly, I'm not this body. I'm the spirit soul within the heart. So those who consider themselves to be just the body, they are conditioned. But those who understand their eternal position as servant of the Lord, they are understanding their constitutional position. See? Now, the difference between the two of them is just the state of consciousness. That's about it. And that becomes more, it becomes more effective when we continue on this path of Bhakti Yoga. You see, Bhakti Yoga is what will help one to get uplifted. Ideally, one should be very careful not to commit any sinful activities, right? But sometimes it happens unknowingly. But if we continue on this path of Bhakti Yoga, then it'll be possible for us to not commit any more sins, you see. So it's very, very important to understand that if we commit any abominable activity by accident, not knowingly, by accident, then Krishna will pardon us and help us to get purified. You see? So if we continue to do mantra meditation every day with determination, nothing is possible without determination. If I start a business, I have taken on knowledge, I have the funds, the money to start the business. But if there is no determination, my business is not going to bloom. It is very soon, I'll have to close down the business. Why? Because there was no determination to be successful in that business. Even all of us who are working in the corporate world, we always go to work with determination that I'm going to do my best so that I can get, more money, or I can get a better position, I can progress, right? That is the whole idea, that motivation is there. But if there's no determination, then we're just going to remain stagnant. We're just going to be where we are. And maybe we'll even lose our jobs, right? So if even in the process of Bhakti Yoga, following Bhakti Yoga, if we understand that we are in bondage and we want to become free, does anyone like that their hands and feet and legs and everything are tied up? No, we don't like. We want to be free. We want to be able to go where we want, talk what we want, whatever we want to do. So to become free from bondage, we definitely need the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita. So when we take on this knowledge from Bhagavad Gita and understand our position, where we are, and understand where do we need to go. Most people don't have a goal in life. And out of those who do have a goal in life, is mostly material goals, that I want to be here, I want to do this, I want to earn this, etc., etc. Very rarely we will find those who have a spiritual goal, those who want to break the cycle of birth and death and be able to go to a place where there is no birth, no disease, no old age, no death, and there is permanent happiness. Who would not want to go there, right? An intelligent person would definitely want to go there. So, from this verses from 27 onwards till the end of the chapter, Krishna is giving us knowledge about how to become free from bondage. Now, in verse number 31, Krishna says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that by devotee never perishes. You see, when we constantly perform mantra meditation, when we constantly hear the Bhagavad Gita, then there is purification of the heart. You see, the contamination is removed in whatever degree it may be. So, just by doing mantra meditation, that hearing process and chanting process immediately brings us to the platform of remembrance of the Lord. And that remembrance helps us in purification. And when that purification takes place, there is protection. Protection from the Lord. He says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati, that my devotee never perishes. So we must continue this chanting of the holy names. This will protect us from any fall downs. This will protect us from engaging in any abominable activity, even by accident. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, take my shelter and make me your destination, and you will attain lasting peace. You see, we all want peace. But what happens in this world, the peace that we get is short-lived. It is there for a little time. It's there for some time and then it is gone. And then we are searching again and again. Let me do this. Let me go here so I can get some peace of mind. But unfortunately, we are not able to. But if we follow this process of Bhakti Yoga, then it will be very, very easy to get lasting peace, peace that stays. Why? Because we have changed our state of consciousness. We are not operating only on the bodily platform. We're not operating just for the body. We are also feeding the soul. We feed the body every day. What about feeding the soul? The food for the soul is chanting the holy names. Now, in verse number 32, Krishna explains that there is a difference between lower and higher class, which means it's a state of consciousness again. Lower means those who are only thinking about the body. Higher means those who are thinking about the body and the soul. And when we start associating with pure devotees, very important. See, association has a long lasting impact on us, impact on our consciousness also. Now, if I'm going to associate with those who drink a lot or those who smoke a lot, their association will rub off on me, definitely. Then I will also have a desire to drink and to smoke. But when we start associating with pure devotees, that means those who are following the process of bhakti yoga in a pure state of mind, then their purity will rub off on us. You see? And then gradually it will lead us to purification. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that consciousness of me means consciousness of Krishna is the highest perfection of life. Now, in verse number 33, he is giving knowledge that is very important for us, like all other verses. What does he say? That this material world is temporary and it is not a place of happiness. Very, very clear. That doesn't mean that this material world is false. No, it's just temporary. How many people in our lives we have seen who have come into our lives and now they are not there anymore? They have passed away, right? Our family members or friends or relatives, whoever, it's not permanent. Even this body is not permanent. We have to give this up, right? Just like we rent an apartment, we sign a lease, 1 year lease, 2 year lease, whatever it may be. Once the lease expires, we have to vacate that apartment. Similarly, this body is like an apartment and you've got it on lease. But we don't know when the lease is going to expire, but it will definitely expire. And then the soul has to leave this apartment, this body, and go into another one. So Krishna is saying that this material world is not false, but it is temporary. So why not go to a place which is permanent, where we don't have to change apartments? We have a permanent home, which is in the spiritual world. And when we start the mantra meditation, it qualifies us to go to the spiritual world. Now, verse number 34, Krishna says, Manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Manmana. He's saying, always think of me. Engage your mind in thinking of me. How do we do that? The best thing is to chant. When we chant, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. When we chant, then what happens? There is purification. The mind gets fixed on the Supreme Lord. And Krishna is saying, my devotee fixes his mind on me. He offers obeisances unto me. He worships me. He's completely absorbed in me. And what is the end result? Such a devotee will definitely come to me, which means such a devotee will get entrance into the spiritual world. That's a guarantee. Krishna is giving us a guarantee. For what to be able to qualify, what do we need to do? We need to fix our mind on him. We need to offer obeisances. We need to worship him, be completely absorbed in him. These are the 4 things that are required. And the easiest, most simple method is mantra meditation. That is the only way. That is why in every class on Sunday, I emphasize on the importance of chanting the holy names. Why waste this human form of life? See, there's a huge difference between human beings and animals and birds, insects, reptiles, whatever other living entity we may think of. There's a huge difference. We have the intelligence by which we can achieve the highest goal in life. Animals cannot. What if I invited cats and dogs here to hear Bhagavad Gita? Will they understand? No, because they cannot understand. But we, as human beings, we can because we have intelligence. They also have intelligence, but very little. But we have more. We have philosophical intelligence by which we can differentiate between right and wrong, what needs to be done and what ought not to be done. So why waste this human form of life, right? I try to understand that there is a difference between body and soul. So we need to engage our mind in spirituality, engage our mind in bhakti yoga. 9 processes are given to us in the Vedas. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. First is Shravanam, which is hearing, which we are doing. Next is Kirtanam, which is chanting, doing mantra meditation. That is required. That will lead to Smaranam, which is remembrance of the Lord. You see? So the best way to think or fix the mind on the Lord is chant the holy names. And when we do that regularly, then there is purification. Just like I have a disease, I go to the doctor and get a prescription. excuse me, when I get the prescription, I have a freedom of choice. Do I want to take the medication or not? Now, when I choose to take the medication because my intelligence tells me if I don't take the medicine, I won't get free of the disease. Now, again, I have a choice. If I choose to take the medication, I have a choice how many doses to take. Do I follow the prescription of the doctor or do I just take whenever I feel like? Or maybe I'll take one dose once a week or once in 2 weeks. Then the disease is not going to go away. You see? So we need to follow the prescription of the doctor. The doctor knows what is the disease and what is the cure and how much dosage needs to be taken. So similarly, the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita is explaining to us that if we want to reach the spiritual world, then we need to chant on a daily basis. We need to do mantra meditation on a daily basis. That will help us in purification. You see? Now, chapter 7 and 8 that we learned, it was about pure devotional service. And Krishna explained to us that we have a freedom of choice and we need to decide, do I want to go back to the spiritual world or do I want to come back into this material world and suffer? If we choose to go back to the spiritual world, then we need to follow the process. There has to be discipline. Anything that we want to do here, even in this world, there has to be discipline. Even children in school have to follow discipline. There has to be determination. So the choice is ours. We need to choose, what do we want to do? Come back or go back to the spiritual world and break the cycle of birth and death. And chanting is the best way to engage the mind, which can help control the mind just by chanting. And when we follow this mantra meditation on a daily basis, then what will be the result? We will become free from bondage and we will reach the stage of liberation where we will be so happy even while being in this material world, even though this material world is called a place of miseries, we will still be happy and peaceful because we have reached that stage of liberation. And it begins with chanting. So we will chant for 10 times. And it's my humble request to you is that you also please chant with me and you will feel the result. And whenever you have time, you know, just chant for a few minutes and you will see the difference. Let's chant for at least 10 times, okay, like we do every time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you see, it's very, very simple. We chant the whole mantra on each bead and then go on to the next bead. So there are 108 beads. And if we chant for 108 times, it takes about 7 to 8 minutes. And we can definitely spare 7 to 8 minutes on a daily basis. If we can chant more, very, very good. But if we are not able to, then at least we should chant 108 times every day. That way, we will see the difference in our consciousness, difference in, we will see the purity also. We'll be able to experience that we are getting pure just by how? By chanting the holy names of the Lord. So I see that Carla has joined us for the first time, I think. So I posted some links for you in case you're interested. We have this class every Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so I'm going to end now. So if anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to ask. Excuse me.